Hey folks, we've got a lot to discuss today. I hope you can hear me. I sound a little, I don't know, nasally congested. Autumn is where my allergies are like the absolute worst. The absolute worst. So, well, this season in the spring it was pretty bad, but just the whole dryness is really affecting me a lot. So, hopefully, I sound clear to you now. I wanted to make sure that I got something out for you because it is the 1111 Gateway. Unfortunately, I will not be discussing the 1111 Gateway in any serious, severe, detailed capacity. And that's simply because I have been working to remove myself from things that are connected to the sacred partner journey as much as possible. So, for those of you who are on the sacred partner journey, and not to say that I'm not on it, I'm just not being an active participant in it in the third dimension. Uh, I've been avoiding it for a long time. So, but there are those of you who are going, pushing forward, and doing what needs to be done and continuing on. And I hope that the energies of today and of this whole month, because there are various ways that 1111 is coming up with the dates in this month. So the thing about 1111 for everybody else who is unaware if they're on a sacred partner journey or who just aren't in this lifetime is that 1111 is when you're spiritually aware, you're connected to yourself. 1111 comes up to basically show you that you are on the right track. You're doing what you need to be doing. Even if you feel like you're taking some steps backward, that 1111 pops up and it's still the direction that you should be going in, basically. So for me, 1111, of course, is a huge part of my life, and it's been popping up with increasing intensity over the past few weeks. And of course, I'm sure it's because, the gateway energies, and I suspected and was interested in these energies, and I suspected that they would be a doozy. And for me, they are, but then again, the past 6, 8 weeks, I don't know, has been completely out of control in a sense with the transit. So, but I'm here and I'm happy. And I did, like I said, take a step away from Sacred Partner Journey, and I will probably continue to do so. However, I do recognize 1111 is supremely significant, and I wanted to make sure that I did a reading for you all. And I actually have I use an additional deck this time as well. So I'm excited about that. And before we get started, I just wanted to say I wrote down the name of that self-help book that I'm reading right now. And it's called 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna West. I got it off of Amazon, downloaded it to Kindle. Not sure if there is a hard copy of this, but there is a Kindle version. It's been amazing thus far. I've been reading it bit by bit and just seeing how, oh, excuse me, just seeing how it resonates with me. So that's pretty awesome. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, of course, Venus goes direct on Saturday, and that might make things a bit easier for any of you who have been struggling with this transit. However, please keep in mind the post shadow will be in full effect until December 17th. So you won't fully be out of the weeds, but maybe anything wonky that's happening in your life may dissipate or take a reduction. See, now I know that the 17th is the date, and I was just hoping that there'll be some relief for this, but no, it's basically in full effect and just causing everything that I figured it would cause. So, think about this is I knew this was coming, it was going to happen, and how it's going to be deeply effective to me and lots of others. So, I'm just rolling with the punches as best that I can. Also, Mercury will go into retrograde on Saturday. Maybe you're feeling some of that. I've been too wrapped up Mercury has been kind of dwindling for me in a sense and how it affects me simply because I just started taking it for what it was and just preparing ahead of time, saving more time for travel and just really plan ahead of time. So once you get used to that, you may not feel it as much, and the things that occur in it might just be minor annoyances. Maybe your computer goes on the fritz or your phone is lagging, little things like that, scheduling or communication breakdowns. I mean, par for the course. Additionally, I've been talking about this lately now, is Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius, which I've been super excited about. Sagittarius is my moon sign, and Jupiter rules Sag, so I'm super happy to have Jupiter home. And it just left Scorpio. So, for those of you who are Scorpios, I really hope that you took advantage of Jupiter being in your sign and you transformed in ways that you never had before, and you took your opportunities by the horns and you just really did everything you needed to do to get to a new phase in your life. I had Jupiter retrograde in my sun sign of Libra before it moved into Scorpio, and it was a lot. It was heavy, it was a lot, but it was worth it and took me to places where I needed to go. And it was significant for my healing. So now I'm looking forward to having it revamp my physical life. And yeah, that's it for right now, even though I have a little bit of something else that I'm going to save for the end. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. But we're going to get on to the reading. As usual, I'm starting with the map deck. I got you 3 cards for the map deck. And the first card, excuse me, is the Gentle Gardener. It's a very nice card. The Gentle Gardener is basically about what we are co creating, what we are manifesting into our lives based on what we think, what we feel, what we say, that sort of what we put in our heads to expect. Basically, the Gentle Gardener card is what you put out is what you get back, even if you didn't intend it. So be very mindful of what you're thinking, what you're putting out there, because it swings back around. You're going to get more of the same. So if you don't like what you're getting now, change how you're thinking about things, and that will set the path for you to get something different in the future. This is a good um, indicator that you might need to add some affirmations into your life and just basically say the thing that you want, like in very positive terms, very personally to yourself over and over. The thing that you want, the thing that you want to be, what you see for yourself. But of course, before you can do all of that, you got to kind of know what you want, what you're trying to do, what you're hoping for. So at least sometimes you don't have it. Sometimes your affirmation is today is going to be a great day. I so and so am happy and grateful that today is going to be a great day and I'm going to be productive. Like, I mean, basic. You don't have to be fancy with the affirmations. It's just something to help lift you up, and I'm telling you, it works. As a matter of fact, I need to get back on my affirmation game before I'm fully out of practice because it was working. So I'm going to be revisiting affirmations right along with everyone else. Yay. Okay. Next card is reversal. We're back on reversals now, which means that we're kind of like, I don't want to say off track, but we need some shifting that needs to be done. The come into life card reversal means that we've got to let go of the control and let spirit, universe, whatever you got on your side, lead. Stop trying to meddle, stop trying to fix things to be the way that you want them to be, fix them to perfection, let it ride. Especially right now, if you're unsure, if you're in a place of uncertainty or you don't know what to do next. Look, my whole thing is when I don't know what to do, I don't do anything. And it took a lot of self-reflection and sitting with myself to come to a point where I sat and got really quiet and was like, yo, hey, spirit team, what should I be doing? Don't do anything. And that's what this is about. Leave it alone. Whatever it is right now, let it unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. Don't try to meddle. Just chill out. Leave it to the powers that be. Cliche, I know, but that's what this card is saying. Okay? And then another reversal, Magic Stream. Here's how it looks upright. Isn't it pretty? Magic Stream. You know what this is about. If you watch my videos enough and you see something about a stream or like water in this capacity, you gotta know it means flow. Gotta go with the flow. Let it go. So then, since this is in reverse, it means we are really not letting it go. We are not going with the flow. We are swimming upstream. That's our next step, basically. We have the potential to be going against the flow because we're trying to control something that's out of our control. And of course, we are still in Venus retrograde. So there's a lot that may not fully be in our control regarding our relationships, regarding our finances. You heard the drill. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's where we're at right now. So, since you know that you probably are going to have a propensity right now to go against the flow, just try to slow down a little bit and incorporate ways into your life where you can be more in the flow, and that means just leaving it alone, letting things rock, okay? And I've got a love deck card, our love energy rings of time. This card basically coincides with the three that I just discussed with you. This is things are under divine timing. They will happen in their right time. Sometimes we want to be a little bit farther along than where we are in various areas of our lives, and it's just not necessarily the time for it. So it's just to just sit and just leave it, just chill out. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen in the time that it's supposed to happen in. And that's really all that you can go by. We can't force the hands of time. We can't turn them back. We can't create more time. But fortunately, we don't get less time. So that's the half glass full perspective on that, right? Okay. And I'm excited because I got a deck that I don't usually pull cards from for you all, and it is my Sandra Ann Taylor energy deck. So I wanted to get the collective energy of like what's happening right now, and it is a reversal. Woman holding a heart. Basically, here's what it looks like upright. Basically, what this means is it's a possibility that your love life is in shambles, that you're having a really hard time right now with it. It's Venus retrograde. This is to be expected. Venus rules love, 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 love. And it's retrograde in Libra. Libra is the sign of partnerships. Roll with a Libra. They always want to just be together, diplomatically so. And having Venus be in retrograde like this, it challenges all of that. So, this card, one of the meanings is your love life could be a mess, a wreck, in shambles. And the other part of it is there could be a woman in your life that's causing you some issues, some strife. There could be some jealousy going on, some manipulation, some control tactics peppered into it. Some sort of way, there's some woman who could be pulling your strings. And if you listen to everything I said before that about going with the flow, leaving it up to spirit, all of that stuff, watching what you're projecting out from yourself, that applies to this situation. If you are in a situation where there's like a woman you're having some sort of issue with, just try to get some clarity about why. Why could this be happening? Is it something that you have kind of co-created or manifested into your world based on your thought patterns and the things that you say or feel or do? Um, think about how you can better deal with the feelings that it gives you. If it's upsetting, removing yourself from it, or just looking at it from a different angle, trying to solve it from another pathway than just maybe direct conflict. And, I was reading today, I got an email. It's one of the first things I saw from Mark and Angel, and that's Mark that ends with a C. You could just probably look them up, Mark and Angel. And Mark and Angel sent an article today about when your life feels really complicated, things you can do to simplify it. And part of simplifying your life when it seems complicated is dropping things. I talk about dropping things sometimes, like letting it go, clearing it out, clearing it out. And the thing about clearing things out is you just have to basically make a list of everything that needs to remain, like stuff that's like this is the constant. And when I mean constant, I don't mean things that you just think are constant. Things that are like constant, like, hey, I do have to go to work, I have to pay my bills. Or I have dependents to take care of. Let me take care of that. Or a family member, things that you know you can't drop. I care about my purpose work, hey, okay. But keep your constants. But then look at everything else. Make a list of everything you're taking on and say to yourself, do I really need to take this on? Like, really? I'll take my glasses off. I'm getting glare from my computer. I have my computer up right behind this because I have something to share with you when we're done. So just think about what you can drop, what you can remove, what you can offload, what you can delegate to others. Go for it. Okay? And for those of you whose love life is in shambles, it could just be for temporary. We are still in Venus retrograde, so any decisions, any things that have happened during this transit, a new relationship, a marriage, meeting someone new, that stuff could be on shaky ground, unfortunately. It could all feel positive, but it could be on shaky ground. On the flip, those of you who were in conflict with the lover, had a breakup, some sort of friction, that may improve or get better toward the end of the transit. Everything is all over the place right now. So if you just focus on, yourself, really, what you need, what you're putting out there, are you doing the things that you need to do? Just kind of focus a little bit more on what's happening all up in here instead of what's happening related to you and another person, because you've got to know what's happening all up in here before you can even think about or consider trying to figure out how you fit in with this new person you've met or this new partnership you're trying to do, a new friendship. So just take the time to do that. And I've actually got two cards for you from the healing deck simply because they fell out. And the first card is, of course, one of my favorites, hydration. I mean, it speaks for itself. What is very important? Whether you're in a hot climate, a cold climate, sometimes when we're in a cold climate, we feel that we don't need as much water because we're not sweating, but technically we really are sweating. Like if you're in your winter coat or you're walking around, you will break a sweat. It just evaporates so fast. At the end of the day, water. Water is critical for wellness. So make sure you are drinking it. However, this card also speaks to me in a way that says you need to replenish your pool, like your life pool. Like, are you doing the same things every time and you're getting the same result, or you didn't try anything new, you didn't expand your mind? That's one of the reasons why I'm reading this self-help book I just told you about. What have you done to, like, that's outside of your norm, that's outside of your routine, that felt fulfilling, exciting, replenishing? Do something. Do something you haven't done before. Take a step out, because we get in these spaces in life where we feel like, okay, when I have these five things, I can live. When I have these things, I can relax. When I have these things, I can be happy. Nobody got time for that because what I said, time doesn't wait for anybody. You can't create more time, but you can waste your time when you're thinking about everything you need to have to finally allow yourself to have a good time in life or feel happiness, feel joy. Why not now? Why not today? All right. And the last card is kindness. Kindness. It is not just the kindness card where you're just going out being kind. Of course, it's part of it, but it's really the kindness card. And show some kindness to someone who's really might be kind of getting under your skin. Someone you're having a difficult time with. That kindness. But of course, you know where I'm going to take it. First and foremost, you got to be kind to yourself. So don't go so hard on yourself. Go easy on yourself. You know, we can strive for perfection all we want, but we could potentially keep failing it. So you may as well just be kind to yourself. And when you're kinder to yourself, it helps you to accept others for when they may have what you would consider a shortcoming. You understand how you feel sometimes and how you can't get things wrapped around your head, and maybe this person can't either. So just being sensitive to that, especially now when people are like really going through it, whether they're feeling upset from trauma that's happening in society, whether they're going through their own personal problems. You know, there's a lot, and you never know what someone else is really kind of going through. But also, that doesn't mean that you've got to be the person to take on what other people are going through. You don't have to do that. It's just you can be mindful and understanding, but you don't have to be in the mix. You can do it from a distance. No one is asking you to pick up anything that someone is trying to leave with you or dump. You know, a part of protecting your energy is having clear boundaries with folks and also being clear about where you end and they begin. All of that type of stuff is important. So it's really about being kind and supportive, but with an element of a detachment involved. So you're not getting wrapped up, caught up, and then begin suffering due to what other people have going on in their lives that isn't really what you should take on, and it isn't going to serve you necessarily. So, you know, we always want to help others, and that's typically in our nature. But sometimes you've got to really be clear and honest about where you're at in life and what your ability and capability is to take on anything from anyone else. So, but when you're feeling frustrations, when you're out in the world or you're even at home around your family, maybe you're shopping for the holidays, maybe family's coming through to visit, just think of how you can be kind even in situations that are not ideal for you. Like this card is to challenge us to employ kindness even in conditions that don't feel so fantastic or even kind toward us. And that's rough. I'm gonna be honest with you. When you get ego into the mix, that is a rough, tough step. But it is a reality and it's always for the best because it's more like, do you want to be angry and fighting, you know, in your quest to just be right or to prove a point? Or do you just kind of want to just have a little bit more ease and bury the hatchet and water under the bridge? Uh, you know, I actually had a conversation about water under the bridge last night with someone, and it's just like over time, when you start realizing how when you hold on to things, how harmful it can feel to you, and then how easy and cooling and water under the bridge can feel. Look at this beautiful magic stream. That's the goal for me. Ease. Okay, so last bit that I want to share with you. I love getting the weekly horoscope from Jessica Lanyadoo, and that is her last name is spelled Lanydo. She does various types of horoscopes. She has the monthly, she has the weekly. The weekly is my favorite. I find it all comprehensive. But what was cool about this weekly is that she gave some action items. Now, she usually does give action items, but I really appreciated these action items this month for the new moon in Scorpio that just passed. So here's some things to think about and do your homework on. I've been meaning to type this up in my journal, but here's what she's telling us we should do with, just now that we've got through with the new moon in Scorpio, which was like last week, Wednesday or so. So here we go. New moon homework, she says. What have I been avoiding? Think about that. What people, situations, or attitudes am I holding on to that I know are not working? That is so significant. I'm going to read it again for you. What people, situations, or attitudes am I holding on to that I know are not working? So it's like sometimes we develop these ways of doing things, these ways of having habits, behaving, basically doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Time to clear that up. Just figure out, what am I doing here that's just consistently not working, and think of another way. What am I willing to release in efforts to be more whole? What am I willing to release in efforts to be more whole? What are you going to let go of that's chipping away at you, preventing you from your wholeness? Where have I held others or myself to excessively harsh standards? This goes back to the whole kindness for yourself and kindness of others bit. If you're holding yourself to excessively harsh standards, you're going to hold other people to excessively harsh standards. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be all willy-nilly and let everything you stand for fall by the wayside, but you can ease up a little bit on stuff, especially stuff that feels restrictive, oppressive, and just frustrating for you. If it doesn't feel like ease, even if it's something you impose on yourself, you might want to think about letting that go or doing it a different way, right? Can I give myself permission to make mistakes? Furthermore, can I commit to a living amends? So, patience and kindness with yourself and forgiving yourself for things you've done or not have done. And then being able to take that and live with it, because forgiveness of the self, it can take a supremely long time simply because sometimes we don't think we need to forgive ourselves. We feel like we just have to forgive other people, that forgiveness is for other people, but forgiveness is for ourselves. And since we live with ourselves 24/7, it's harder to, we can think we've forgiven ourselves, but it's harder to take that forgiveness and live with it and apply it to ourselves. We go back to immediately beating ourselves up or being too harsh on ourselves for things we've done or did not do. So work on living an amends that you've made with yourself and that you've made with other people. All right. I know we've gone on for quite a bit of time. I hope this was useful, helpful, etc. Everyone enjoy the rest of your 11/11. I hope that the energies serve you well. Namaste.